Week's main news. Public Chamber Opposition Group releases statement. Human rights defender in Nakhchivan charged with embezzling electricity. Hearing of human rights defender continues with witness testimony. Government turns a blind eye to pressures on journalists. Party leaders attend the court hearings of protesters. Human rights defender without Iskandarov's life endangered.
On Saturday, the Public Chamber Opposition Coalition released a statement on three of the most pressing issues affecting Azerbaijan right now: the human rights and freedom situation in Nakhchivan, court proceedings on prisoners arrested during the April 2nd protests, and increasing tuition fees in universities. The statement drew attention to the severity of the government restrictions in Nakhchivan, listing the violent government clampdown on a peaceful protest by residents over a problem with their water supply in Nehram village in Babak region, the aggressive treatment of APFP branch head Yashar Bagasoy and his brother Zainal Bagasoy, violence against local IRFS and Turan Information Agency news correspondents, the illegal deportation of a German journalist from the territory, amongst others. The statement argued that these actions have been taken in support of a despotic regime in Nakhchivan. The Public Chamber is deeply concerned about the violation of human rights and freedoms in Nakhchivan and strongly condemns these actions, suggesting that they are being implemented as policies of the Azerbaijani authorities. The Public Chamber called for the defence of the prisoners of conscience who were arrested during the April 2nd protests and to respect the country's legal obligations to international conventions. In addition, the Public Chamber strongly condemned the decision to increase tuition fees at state universities, calling upon the Azerbaijani government to reconsider their decision. They warned the government that this kind of move risks provoking intense confrontations. Today, the Sharur District Prosecutor's Office officially brought charges against IRFS regional correspondent Hekimel Dostu Metiev for the embezzlement of electricity, under Article 189-1.1 of the Criminal Code. According to Mediev, lead investigator Sanan Pashayev made him sign a statement agreeing not to leave the Sharur district. Mediev has been charged with the illegal use of electricity to a cost of 1,050 manat. "I refuse the state attorney," said Mediev. He believes that the state is charging him under cases related to his campaign for human rights and journalism work. If Mediev is found guilty, he will have to pay a fine of 3,000 manat or receive a sentence of up to 2 years correctional labour. On July 15th, the local authorities cut off the electricity to his house under the pretext of its illegal use in the car wash he was running in his driveway. However, according to Mediev, he has paid all his electricity bills and can provide all the relevant receipts. He says that the harassment began at the beginning of July after he accompanied the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung reporter Michael Ludwig during his trip to Nakhchivan, despite attempts by the local authorities to prevent the German journalist from visiting. The hearing of human rights defender Vizdadi Iskandarov is continuing at Goychay District Court. Current developments include the investigation of motions filed by Iskandarov and his lawyer Khalid Bagirov during the last trial. They demanded a written statement of explanation of the charges against Iskandarov. After a short debate, the judge ruled to fulfill the motion. Then Iskandarov filed a motion asking the court to adjust his detention conditions to the requirements of the law, to put an end to the insults and threats against his lawyer, and to open a criminal case against the General Prosecutor of Azerbaijan, Zakir Garilov. All of the motions were denied. The hearing continued with the testimony of Sharafadin Bayramov, one of the alleged victims of the election fraud case. Bayramov said that he had signed a document given to him by an executive officer without understanding what he was signing. He said that he had a limited educational background and added that he did not even know Iskandarov. Eldar Babayev, Secretary for Election Precinct No. 2, testified on another element of the case. He alleged that Iskandarov, along with several others, wanted to take 9 ballot papers away from the precinct, but was prevented. In response, Iskandarov filed a motion requesting the court to view the video footage from the camera installed in the precinct, which he said would disprove the allegations made by Babayev. Another witness, a member of Election Precinct No. 16, Mazahir Jafarov, said that 16 ballot papers were wrongly prepared for voters when the precinct was opened. A relevant protocol was compiled to cancel these ballot papers. However, when Iskandarov showed up, he not only took these 16 papers, but took an additional 4. The witness says that the ballots in question were filled in favour of the current MP, Shamsadin Hajiev, by Iskandarov himself, in order to try and claim election fraud. It is notable that the majority of the witness testimonies given in the trial contradict what the same witnesses said during the investigation. Vidadi Iskandarov has been charged under Article 159.3 and 160.1 of the Criminal Code, interfering with the implementation of the right to vote and interfering or influencing the operation of the Election Commission. If found guilty, he could be sentenced to up to 3 years in jail. The Azerbaijani government has offered €40,000 to 8 journalists who appealed to the European Court of Human Rights, but it is refusing to recognise that their rights have been violated, IRFS Director Amin Husseinov said during a press conference today. The press conference focused on the European Court of Human Rights appeal by the 8 journalists against the local government. The basis for the appeal is the alleged violation of freedom of assembly. The government has recently stated that it is ready to reach an out-of-court settlement. According to Husseinov, the ECHR ruling on this case could be one of the first on freedom of assembly specifically. This is a sham settlement, as the government does not recognise that the rights were violated, that the police who physically assaulted the journalists have not been brought to justice, said Husseinov. One of the plaintiffs, director of Turan news agency Mehman Aliyev, wants the issue to be settled in court. Money is not the issue. The situation is getting worse in Azerbaijan. Freedom of assembly is still being violated, he said. Aliyev believes that citizens' constitutional rights to hold meetings, pickets, or to protest in any other form have virtually been abolished. Anyone attending this kind of unsanctioned meeting is likely to face pressure from the police, the courts, or others. 2 of the appellants, Azadlik newspaper editor-in-chief Ganimad Zahidov and independent commentator Shavalad Chobanoglu, agree with Aliyev. If just one of the plaintiffs does not reach agreement with the government, the court will consider the appeal, which will very likely be granted, Aliyev said. The other 5 plaintiffs, Yeni Musavat newspaper editor-in-chief Raul Arifoglu, and 4 employees of the same newspaper, Azar Aykan, Etibar Seydaga, Elshad Mamadli, and Zabil Mugabiloglu, did not attend the event. Citing Article 11 of the European Convention on Human Rights, the journalists are demanding €5,000 each in compensation for psychological damage. Today, Sabel District Court continued the court proceedings on the cases of Azerbaijan Popular Front Party activists Sahib Karimov, Arif Alishli, Babek Hasanov, Zulfugar Evazli, Musavat Party activist Elshin Hazanov, and non-affiliated Elnur Israilifov, all of whom were arrested during the public chamber opposition group protests of April 2nd. Judge Elnur Hasanov presided over the hearing. Relatives of the accused gathered in front of the court building, along with Musavat Party chairman Iza Gambar and APFP chairman Ali Karimi. Witness testimonies were heard during the hearing. Most of the witnesses are police employees. According to lawyer Yalchin Imanov, the police employees who gave testimony said that they had not seen any of the defendants break bus windows. The police testimonies during the hearing contradicted, allegedly, what they had said during the investigation. This prompted the lawyers to file a motion to stop the police from giving testimonies and to bring them to criminal liability for possible perjury. The lawyers also requested the court to question the attorneys who had been involved. The judge rejected all of the motions. The hearing was disrupted when a woman claimed that the court process was fraudulent and politically motivated. She was forcibly removed from the courtroom. When a young boy was seen to be filming with his mobile telephone, the bailiffs carried him out. The next hearing will take place on August 10th. The accused are being charged under Article 233 of the Criminal Code, organising actions breaking social rules and active involvement in those actions, and 186.1, vandalism.
As
Imprisoned human rights defender Vidadi Iskandarov's life is under threat. He has serious health problems. He suffers from serious diabetes but is not receiving the necessary medical assistance, reported the chairman of Institute for Reporters' Freedom and Safety, Amin Huseynov, at a press conference today. Iskandarov's trial is underway at Goychay District Court. He has been charged with forcing a citizen to vote against his own party, interfering and influencing the activities of the election committee, and battery, all part of the Azerbaijani criminal code. According to Huseynov, these accusations are politically motivated. The fact that the hearing is being held with special security measures and that employees of the narcotics trafficking specialists from Agdash Police Department had been invited to the courthouse support Huseynov's claim, he said. Vidadi Iskandarov is being treated as a terrorist, emphasized Huseynov. He also stressed that the trial is being processed by the order of Goychay District Executive Power. This has had an unfortunate consequence. Employees of the executive power have insulted journalists and human rights defenders participating in the trial, and the judge is not allowing filming or photography. Their goal is to break the morale and dedication of human rights defenders by using pressures and torture against them, said IRFS chairman. Huseynov also said that human rights organizations and representatives of the diplomatic corps were not paying enough attention to the hearing process. Only the US Embassy had sent a representative to observe the hearing. Lawyer Khalid Bagilov called the hearing a tragicomedy. He directed the attention of the observers to the fact that most of the alleged victims and witnesses have mental illnesses. The lawyer believes that the fact that the hearing is being carried out by the General Prosecutor's Office instead of the Regional Prosecutor's Office suggests that the charges are politically motivated. Bagirov also said that Iskandarov is being held in extremely poor conditions. He is not allowed to walk outside. The lawyer has lost all hope that they will reach an objective or fair verdict and predicted that the case would be taken to the higher courts with the ultimate aim of sending it to Strasbourg. Human rights defender Rasul Jafarov called Vidadi Iskandarov a potential political prisoner. He noted that Iskandarov's name will be written in the list of political prisoners sent to the Council of Europe and other international organizations.